So let me begin again. I was telling you about the example of the cinema hall. And I said that after the interval, if the people are coming once again into the cinema hall, is that person at the gate going to again check your tickets the second time?
No, sir.
No, isn't it? So that means that once this scanning has been done, once it is already done, for the second time movement, it is not required. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, so these channels, uh, the stereo specificity is less, and when because the specificity is less, then the rate of movement of the molecules will be more. Okay, so again, coming to the analogy of the cinema hall, if you're going into the cinema hall after the interval, then the movement of the people is going to be much faster compared to the first time entry. Okay, so similarly here in this channel proteins, because the specificity of uptake is less, the movement of the molecules is more. In fact, it is much more as compared to the carriers. Okay, and the other important property of the channel proteins is that there is no saturation kinetics as such, and therefore the movement becomes really much faster. From the structural point of view, the channels are a little more complicated molecules compared to the carriers, and therefore they are oligomeric complexes. Okay, so there are often several different types of subunits which are involved. Okay, and together these subunits are different polypeptides, you can say. They make up for these complex channel proteins. Okay, the third type of the transporter that we are going to study are the pumps, and these are the type of transporters which definitely make use of energy. Okay, so energy dependent movement, and that movement of molecules is an uphill task. That is to say, the molecules are moving here against the concentration gradient, that is from a low concentration to a high concentration. Okay, that requires energy. Then another interesting thing is that you should know is here that these different types of transporters, the carriers, it could be the channels or the pumps. Okay, so there are various super families of this. Okay, so these are not just a few types of molecules here and there, but really there is a huge array of different molecules which form the pumps. There's a huge array of molecules which form the channels, and there are equally a large number of molecules which are the carrier molecules. Okay, so there within these super families, there are a number of families, and within the families there are a number of different types of these molecules. Okay, so indeed it is a very large number of molecules which carry out the function of transporting molecules or carrying molecules from outside the cell to the inside of the cell, and that is because this particular process is a very important part of the life of the biological cell. So here I have just written some examples of different super families of transporters. There are more than 1,000 different types of transporters in the that are encoded by the human genome. Okay, the three-dimensional structures of quite a number of different transporters have already been studied. Okay, if you want to study some of the research papers, then you can just type in your Google. Okay, the structure of a particular type of transporter, for example, the sodium channel or sodium potassium channel. Okay, and you will get a lot of information about the different transporters. Okay, here I have written the example of alpha helix type channels. Okay, these are voltage gated. We are going to see these terms again later. Okay, what are voltage gated channels, or what are ligand gated channel, for example, acetylcholine channel. Okay, then there are beta barrel proteins, for example, the bacterial porins are all barrel type of proteins. Then there are pore forming toxins, that is the diphtheria toxin. Then there are porters. Okay, different types of porters are there, that also we are going to study in a short while. Then there are ATP binding cassette super family of transporters, that also probably we'll see maybe an example or two. And this type of transporter we have already studied, the proton transporter or proton pump, that is the FOF1 ATPase. Okay, or ATP synthase. So we have studied in quite some detail this type of a transporter. Okay, So wherever possible, if you can remember this example, that will be very good for understanding the concept of membrane transport. Okay. Then we come to another type of a transport process, and that is called facilitated diffusion. So shall we go ahead with this, or we'll stop today? Because I think Buktar madam wants to engage the lecture. I wanted to complete a few slides today, but I think it is okay if we continue with that tomorrow. Okay, because rather than just hurrying down the slides, it will be better if we spend some time on understanding the information that is given on these slides. Okay, so we'll stop today. Do you have any questions? If there are no questions, I will end this lecture. Is it okay for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Goodbye, all of you. And one thing which I wanted to just remind you is about the internal exams. In the message before the exams, I have been always telling you that you are supposed to attempt the exam only once. Okay, do not try to attempt the exam another time. Okay, it is quite possible that some of you might get a little confused about whether your answer paper has been submitted or not properly. Okay, doesn't matter. You can within a few minutes you can resubmit. Okay, you might be resubmitting it not as a mistake. Okay, it may happen sometimes. That is quite understandable. But if you are submitting the paper after a long gap of time, say after 9 minutes, 10 minutes, or after 15 minutes, or even after 1 hour, some students are resending the paper. And then when you are resending the paper, there are some changes which are taking place. Okay, you are altering the answers, you are changing the answers. If that is the thing, then it gives a real bad impression about your exam. Okay, you are attempting the exam. So I think you should avoid that. You are responsible students. Okay, you are doing your MSc, you are doing your PG. Okay, so be more responsible. And then I have always told you that if there is any problem with the submission of the papers, you can immediately contact me. I have given you 15 minutes time after the end of the exam. So if your exam ends at 5 o'clock, then by 5:15 you can always tell me that there was a problem in the submission, and then I can allow you to resubmit the paper, but without any alteration in your answers. That is very important. Okay, so this time I am considering your papers. Of course, the first attempt that you have done, the first submission I'm considering, not the second submission. But henceforth, in the next exam, I'm not going to allow that. Is it okay? Just take a note of this point. So bye all of you.